This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
It is the greatest game ever made, Warhammer Quest, at least according in my eyes. Now today, as you know, over the summer we are going to be doing some playthroughs, and I already have some made, but I have some things before that I want to showcase, a two-part series. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go over some of the basic rules, so when we get and start our adventure, we're going to be talking about everything. We're going to be talking about how the game works, what it does, some of the things that that is very unique to it. It is a very simple game, but it is a complex game, and thanks to Little Monk, there are some fantastic things out there, which looking forward to sharing with you, as well as some scenarios that we started off with that come right out of the book. If you are interested in this and have it, there is the Ultimate Adventure book and the Ultimate Treasure book, which you can get from Little Monk, as well as Halls of the Hag Queen, which is just glorious, that you can get. And basically, to put it plainly, you're going to see throughout the series that is not going to be in the regular game. So we're going to kind of get started here. I'm going to go down to the table. I'm going to give you a brief overview, so when I get going, I don't have to stand there and explain the rules. I can kind of talk about some of the things that are going to happen, and you're going to see. And boy, this is a good one. So without further ado, let's go down and check out some of the basic rules of Warhammer Quest 95. What the heck is going on with this thing? Now, as you see here, what the heck? Hold on. Okay, as you can see, I've got one of my favorite characters of all time. The Chaos Warrior is my favorite, but hey, I love the Barbarian. I always play the Barbarian. So we're just going to use him just in certain cases here, so you have an idea of what's going on here. Now, you're going to start off with a card here, which is going to give you everything that you need. Your movement, you're going to be able to move. So when it is your turn, you're going to have to do your full movement, okay? And there you go, a movement of 4. That's going to take you around a tile. How many wounds you have, it's always going to be D6 plus 9 starting off, but you can level up and have a chance to, on your next thing, add additional wounds. Then it becomes 2D6 plus 9. So when we leveled up to battle level 2, oh, that would be a nice roll, right? So 9 and 12, boy, he'd have a ton of wounds. So he would really absorb quite a bit of damage, okay? It tells you how many attacks you have, your initiative. Initiative is important, especially when you're facing certain types of enemies and such. Okay, you want to have the initiative. Toughness, that plays big, and we'll show you how that plays. Strength is going to help you deliver a certain amount of wounds, okay? Weapon skill and ballistic skill. If you're an archer, ballistic skill is real important. Weapon skill, especially if you are a melee fighter. You are normally going to be playing with a party of 4 people, and you can run it by yourself while you are taking care of all 4. the wizard is pretty important, because the way the everything starts off and how you're going to do things, of course, is in phases. Okay, so you're going to have all your characteristics and stuff like this, and there are going to be spell cards that you're going to have for, of course, different types of spells. And as you can see, there is a power cost. Okay, and you're going to have like shield, which is very expensive for 6, confused, lightning bolt for 4, healing hands for 2. These all have a specific cost, and how you're going to attribute that cost is that during one of the very first phases of the game, and there are 4 phases. There is a power phase, and you are going to roll a d6. When you roll a d6, of course, that number right there is the number that he has for that particular round, not for the entire combat. So if all we do is just move, particularly here, that is going to be, you're going to go from the power phase, then you're going to go to the warrior phase. Okay, that's where they're going to move. There's no monsters. And then there's an exploration phase. Well, you're not at the edge here, so you cannot explore. So those phases are not going to come into play. But, okay, because all you did was move there and you did not move off this tile, you're going to start another phase, okay? And when you roll that phase, well, that's really good. That's going to give you 6, and it's going to help him become berserk and things like that. But that is going to last for this entire phase. So he will move, okay, which would be part of the warrior phase, and then we would come to an area where we would draw from these dungeon cards, because you don't know where you're going. Everything is determined by a dungeon card, and you would turn over that card, and sure enough, you will be entering the well of doom. So now we're going to pretend that's just a regular room, but there are different rules for that particular room. You'll attach the room, and then you will draw an event card, which possibly will have different things, because each room has an event. Also, what can happen is if you ever roll a 1, that is also going to cause a disaster, because you are going to pull an event card even though you did not leave that particular room. Now, like I said, when you draw those event cards, they're normally not good, but there's different types of events that can happen. You can have certain encounters, run into traps. You're going to run into monsters like minotaurs and spiders and such, or goblins or orcs, giant spiders. You know, everything that you really don't want to run into, you will run into definitely on these cards. Skaven and things like that. All these things, and you're going to build your event deck. Now, like I said, when you come to an edge here, that is going to trigger the event the exploration phase. And what's going to happen is, like I said, you're going to draw these cards. Now, these cards just don't have different types of things. There's passageways, there's monsters' lairs. Sometimes there are rooms with a lot of nasty things that are going to happen as you go into those different rooms, and it's going to cause all kinds of bedlam. But once you've established that and you can come in here, you are going to draw an event phase. And for instance, if you were to draw monsters, there is a certain way that you are going to be able to put your monsters. Like, for instance, if we turn over an event card and there were 3 spiders, okay, well, if he still had movement left, we would turn this over, the event card, and it said 3 spiders. You would place your spiders, and then you would move. You finish your movement as you went through the door, and you would be able to attack. You can move and attack. Now, how does attacking work? Well, on the back here of the rule book, which is really helpful, it gives you everything that you need. Now, toughness is what they are going to absorb. Now, for instance, we talked about how the barbarian has certain stats. Okay, so what he has is a strength that is going to automatically do 4. Now weapons can give you a certain amount of would cause a certain amount of damage. Different weapons can maybe give you 2d6, maybe more give you a special ability where it does an automatic hit and so forth and so on. You can have certain types of armor that can help you increase your toughness, and we'll explain what toughness does. But the first thing that you're ever going to do is you're going to have to try to hit one of these monsters, okay? And you're going to go off their weapon skill. So if the enemy's weapon skill is a 3, for instance, like the giant spiders have a weapon skill of 2, excuse me. All we're going to need is a 3 to hit. A 3, 4, 5, or 6. You're going to roll. That's a 1, which is going to be an unbelievable fail, which is horrible and not good. But let's just pretend we hit the 3. All right, great. So he's aiming that particular monster. The giant spiders have 1 wound. Okay, so all we have to do is just make sure that we hit. But we're going to add the weapon, and if we do that, we are going to roll a 2 here. 2 plus the 4, remember, for your strength is going to be 6. Now the giant spiders have a toughness of 2. So even though that's 6, you are going to subtract that 2 from there, which means you're going to do 4 wounds, which is more than enough to remove this spider. Okay, now the barbarian has another skill where if he kills one, there's a possibility that he could go berserk and kill another one, depending on a thing, or take another swing. And there's a chance that that can happen. But once you are done with that, then the next player will go and he will come in and try to negotiate how he's going to take care of certain things. So there's a lot of teamwork involved in this. Once you've killed all the monsters, sometimes you're going to be able to draw from a treasure, and that is going to give you a certain amount of different types of treasure that you're going to have, and a gold value, because gold is what you're going to do is once you kill something, you're going to each monster will have a value. These guys cost 15 gold, and you would write that down on your sheet, because what that's going to do is that is how you're going to level, by the amount of gold that you have gone out and captured. And in order to get to the next level, there is a cost of how much gold it would cost to get to that particular level and level up, and it's all in the book here. The game keeps going, whether depending on certain scenarios, and you'll have all kinds of different scenarios, and the rule book is just very, very gives you the hit chart, all the particular monsters. But the thing that really makes this game stand out and really, 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 really shine is the adventure book. Now I'm going to be looking at my good friends Little Monks. There are all kinds of different adventures that you can do in these fantastic books. You have special quests and things like that. There's going to be certain things that you're going to hunt for, and they are going to go by, of course, your level. There is an ultimate treasure book that does all kinds of things, or you can just get one of these very cool supplements, which are going to give you a whole story and campaign. Another thing that really makes this unique is the role-playing book, where you can kind of adjust how you are going to play the game. Okay, you can make your own stuff up. There are different events as you leave dungeons and try to go back to town. You're going to be rolling on charts. You can pull out tougher monsters. there's no end. Settlements, once you're in a settlement, some of the things that you can do to enhance, you may be in an ale house and there could be bad things that happen there, or good things as well. Gambling houses, so you can get more gold, so you possibly purchase stuff. Settlement events, which are sometimes really good or sometimes really, really, really bad, and kind of set you back for your next quest. This is an unending game that just really is fantastic. And one of the things that my good friend Little Monk did, and I'm going to push this aside a bit, is that you could play with so many different characters, and it gives you everything that you would need, how you would level. Okay, remember we said you're going to need certain amounts of gold. You know, once you get to 2,000, well, it resets, and then you would need 4,000. Then it resets, and then you would need 8,000 to go up each particular level. These books are fantastic. I suggest you get them. There are different types. You can make, there's a beautiful backstory, advanced rules on things, just visiting settlements, black markets, things that you can purchase and stuff like that. You have ogres, high elves, pit fighter, which is an original thing. It's nice because he just reprinted the stuff for these, which is really fantastic, and you can find him on YouTube. And if you look up Little Monk, of course, he has a site and an eBay site, which I highly suggest that you check out and purchase some of the fantastic stuff. If you want to play with a Sister Sigmar from Mordheim, well, you can bring them in and have them join your party. And there's a couple different ones. The Warrior Priest, which I have. The Witch Hunter, which I have. The Wizard, of course, where we just looked at him and all the great stuff in the different spells that you can have for him and how to level him up to level 10, which is not easy, not at all. The one thing I would like to see is somebody do levels from 10 to maybe 20, and that I think would be a lot of fun. Assassins, of course, my boy the Barbarian, the Bounty Hunter. This one I really like, in one of my favorite, Bretonian Knights. This one is my all-time favorite, a Chaos Warrior, because you don't know what you're going to get with that dude. The Dwarf. So many different guys that you can be, and so forth, and so, there's just no ending to what you can do with this unbelievably magic game. And I didn't even scratch the surface of it, which we're going to be doing as we start our playthrough. So we're going to go up top, get my final thoughts, and get on out of here. Well, there you have it, folks. Warhammer Quest 95 and a brief overview. Some of the old school models, just old school adventure, a wide open window to do anything you want with. And then you have, people like Little Monk that just put so much passion into this. Like I said, it's just a never-ending thing that is just glorious in the Warhammer world, and one of my favorite games of all time. So, my dear friends, in 2 weeks' time, you will see our first playthrough. And as I said, I try to do things in short segments so you guys can keep interested, and it is an hour-long thing where you kind of go, you start to get tired of it after a while, and then everything drops off. I wanted to keep things in nice short intervals, so hopefully this works out and you guys enjoy it. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon, everybody.